defensive performance, good battling performance. Again, not great football-wise, but we did what we needed to do. And considering how we finished off last season with 6 straight defeats in the away from home, and then the loss to Brentford to get back-to-back away wins, 2 clean sheets as well. Jadon Sancho back amongst the goals. Happy days, really. Hey, you talked that before the game, wouldn't you? Yes, son? Yeah? Get involved in those comments and the chat. Let us know what you think about the result, about the game, about the performances, who your man of the match was, all that stuff. Go on, Joe. You've got the comments there. Let us know what people are thinking. I think Christian Eriksen was given man of the match by whoever it is, Jermaine Genius or whoever it is who chooses the man of the match. Thought he played well again, Eriksen. I thought defensively we were solid. I don't know, man. I might just be developing a massive soft spot for him lately. But I'm tempted to go with Delo again, mate.
Yeah, I thought Delo was really good.
Who got the
Bruno
official
was
one?
good.
Eriksen. Interesting.
Did pick some good passes on you. Out of the midfield, he was...
No, it was, but it didn't... I didn't sit here today watching that game thinking Eriksen played really well.
No.
It never really... But sometimes that means you did well. Because you're not standing out. Do you know what I mean? I think... Oh, look at that. Glazer's out in the
Yes, love to see that.
I love all of
Glazer's
that.
out in the on the flags and banners.
Glazer's out. Well done to those fans for bringing those banners. But as I said, Manchester United winning 1-0 at Leicester. 3 wins in a row now. Is that right?
Yes.
3 wins in a row?
3 wins in a row. 2
unusual, isn't it?
Away wins.
If we make it 4 against Arsenal, we're then 3 points behind them. And they've had an incredible start to the season.
Yeah.
So things could start looking up for us.
Sorry, forgive me if I missed it. I was distracted about that thing. Who did you say you'd go with as your man of the match?
Rafa Varane.
It's easy to forget about Rafa Varane, right? Just how good he is. I know that sounds stupid, but he is quality. You know, because he was injured so many times last season and the season ended in a disaster.
Yeah.
You just think, oh, Varane, yeah, he's all right. He's not all that. He is one of the best centre-backs on the planet. Yeah. And if he does stay fit and if he does perform to the sort of the levels that he can perform to, then you have got one of the best centre-backs you could wish for. And the combination of him and Martinez seems to complement each other perfectly. You've got that tough, tackling, tenacious player in Martinez, the more elegant, controlled defender in Varane. It's like what you used to have with all the great centre-back partnerships. Do you know what I mean? Whether it was, Stam and Johnson or Bruce and Pally or Rio and Vidic, you'd have one who was a bit more of a tough tackler, the other one who was a bit more composed or whatever, and that seems to be what you get in there with them. Yeah.
It's interesting as well, isn't it? Because in those partnerships, generally the one that was the tough tackler wasn't so good on the ball, whereas Martinez is the tough tackler and the sort of the hard man, if you will, and he's superior as a passer and on the ball. Obviously, some of that is his height and his centre of gravity and all that sort of stuff. But that partnership is looking so much better than anything we've seen in recent seasons, or certainly in the last sort of 18 months or so. Martin is looking brilliant week after week. Varane looking under the radar, brilliant week after week. Tonight, I think, I don't know if we've got the stats available to us, but I was looking before, I think it was, we had 8 shots, they had 7, 2 on target for both. But it didn't feel like they looked like scoring at all. I don't remember a time where Leicester looked likely to score. They didn't make any good chances. Even, we were in the lead for a long time in that game. And it never felt like Leicester were going to get back into it. And I think in that sense, it was probably our most controlled win that we've had, certainly this season, but maybe even since before Solskjaer got sacked. I don't feel like we had much of that under Rangnick. It always felt like the game was on a knife edge. I know it was only 1-0, but it was a very controlled and sort of... we could have held the ball better, but in terms of chances conceded, Leicester didn't really do much of anything, did they?
No. There's a graphic there that says, like the video. Yeah, this is our review now. We've gone straight into the match review following the game. We usually do it as 2 videos, but we're following on from the game. We are going to be back as well with another video. We're going to have Adam McCullough, and we're also going to have some match day things. But this is the review of the Leicester City Manchester United game. Leicester City 0, Manchester United 1. So we're going to be going through. Give us your opinions on the match, man of the match. Give us your opinion on the performance. Obviously, United's second away victory on the spin. Our 3rd consecutive victory as well. Looks like the players are buying into what Erik ten Hag is trying to do. We want to hear your opinions. A good result. What about the performance, though? Let us know in the comments and the chat what you thought about the performance. Joe, what are people saying?
People saying we still need to be able to score more than 1 goal a game. What do you make of that? Obviously, that would be good going forward, but I think that's looking for problems. I feel like that is what's wrong way to watch that game rather than saying we looked unbelievably awful for those first 2 games of the season. We've looked unbelievably awful since Christmas last year, for most of that period. And now we've won 3 games back to back. It's 2 clean sheets in that time as well.
2 clean sheets, yeah, back to back, 1-0 wins.
Yeah, and then obviously 1 goal conceded against Liverpool, but even then we didn't concede many chances. I would say the biggest thing that we've seen under Ten Hag, certainly in these 3 games, is defensive solidity and defensive assurity, because I do think, yes, maybe we could score a few more goals, but defensively, tonight they didn't look like scoring, Leicester, did they?
No, they didn't. I thought we kept them at bay really well. Defensively, like you say, we're solid. You can see the system that Erik ten Hag has got us playing. You can see how we're set up. Fullbacks playing much better. I think Delo and Malassi have done really well this season, and Martinez and Varane, we were talking about them earlier, they have played really well. We have got some merch as well. If you can check that out at paddockmerch.com, we've got some graphics we'll show you. So you can see there's a Lisandro Martinez, the butcher, with his meat cleaver there, being modelled by some handsome bald devil. There is a link.
6.
Yeah, number 6.
Nice.
There's a link in the chat. Go and check that out. There you go. We've got Ten Hag merch as well. Adam McCullough and some other geezer there. We've had Ten Hag merch. We've also got Marcus Rashford. We've got Bruno Fernandes. We've got McTominay. We've got Elanga. We've got loads of different merch on there. So go and check it out. Paddock merch. There's a link in the chat. What are people saying about the performance, about the result? Where does this leave us? What's the attitudes?
Not everyone's massively blown away, actually. Someone's saying that paint drying is more exciting than that game.
The thing is, right, with this, these are the sort of results and performances you used to get under Fergie when everyone loved it, and rightly so. And I know we were winning titles and all that, so it's slightly different, but you'd go away at games like Leicester or last week like Southampton, not all the time, but sometimes you'd go and you'd have to almost grind it out a little bit. Don't forget, Leicester already are in all sorts of trouble. They're fighting for their lives, not for their lives because it's only early doors, but the bottom of the table, they need some points. You've got a crowd there that are up for it. You've just come off the back of 2 big games, Liverpool at home and then Southampton away, where you've had to put a shift in. So it's not like you can be too, for me anyway, too disheartened by the fact we've sort of got a bit of a scrappy win.
We were incapable of getting scrappy wins.
Yeah.
Until about 10 days ago.
We went to Brighton and got battered. Yeah. Palace and got done over. Forget about like the City and Liverpool absolutely turned us over last season. We were in free fall. Then Brentford at the beginning of this season did us, and now you can see what the players are doing. You can see what Erik ten Hag is trying to do. You can see the system he's got. You can see that the players are buying into it, and you can see that the midfielders are doing the job as well. Listen, whilst we were talking through that game, there was a lot where me and you were quite critical of some of the passes that were being played. There was a lot of over-the-top balls that were just going straight to Leicester City defenders that weren't good enough. There was a lot of passes that were misplaced. And also some of the decision-making in the final third wasn't great. But ultimately, like you mentioned, we were leading for much of that game. And Leicester was sort of, they were kept at bay, and they were reduced to just long-range shots or try to sort of, get down their left-hand side, our right-hand side, with Harvey Barnes, I think, as well. Diogo Dalot kind of had his number all night.
Quite stunningly, after the first 2 games where we were bottom of the league, after the 5 games played, everyone in the league has played 5 games. We're 5th.
Yeah.
How has that happened?
Well, this is what
madness.
You get. And also, if you look at,
I know obviously early season form is so volatile, but it seems crazy that we're up to 5th already.
Well, we've answered 2 questions in those 3 wins, right? One, like the 2 big questions that have been going on for United: what's happened to your away form? Why can't you turn up against the bigger teams? Beating Liverpool. And we've won 2 away games.
Yeah. And we're clear on 5th as well. It's not like, usually at the start of the season, there's like loads of people on the same points. Yeah. We're a point ahead of 6th, who is Liverpool.
Yeah.
We're a point ahead of, we're on 9 points, then Brighton, Tottenham, City, and then Arsenal, obviously top of the league. But we are clear points ahead of Liverpool in 5th. That's mad, isn't it?
And also, we've got Anthony to throw into the mix. Yeah. You've got Casemiro, who came on today.
Looks a bit scrappy,
Looks a bit scrappy. I think it was a bit of a funny one for him to come into. If you're going to bring them into the starting 11, that's going to give you a massive lift. And I would expect both those players to start against Arsenal as well. I don't think Casemiro or Anthony have been brought in to sit on the bench. So there's lots of reasons to be positive. Listen, I'm not going to say that was a perfect performance, because it wasn't. It was very flawed, and there was a lot of things you can go, okay, that can be better. But ultimately, it was about getting that win and relatively comfortable win.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing with, like, I think as football fans, you would obviously always rather a comfortable win be comfortable because you outscored them and you sort of blew them away with goals. But a comfortable win can be, it was comfortable because they never looked like scoring. And other than what, Maddison's free kick from 25, not the short range one, the long range one, it never looked really realistic that they would get a goal. And I think that really is a massive thing when you think about the Brentford game, especially, where they were literally just pissing through us at every single opportunity. I think that's absolutely massive that they managed to hold off the attacks from Leicester and really didn't let them have anything.
What's everyone saying in the comments in the chat?
Mike93 says, a scrappy win, but I'm so happy. It looks like we're working on things every game. Let's keep it going. Eriksen has been a breath of fresh air. On Eriksen, and not just Eriksen, I want to ask you this. Rashford, Eriksen, Sancho, certainly those three, which is sort of three of the front five, all looking absolutely knackered tonight.
Yeah.
Are you worried that, not necessarily playing them week after week, because obviously that probably gets their fitness up, but we do look like there's a physical component that we're sort of struggling with at the minute, don't we? In terms of fitness, they're not quite there yet. Do you think that's why we're dropping off in the second halves?
A little bit. I think, it's going to take a little while to get used to this. We saw it with Ralph Rangnick. He tried to instill this high press and this sort of, let's go all out, attack or whatever, or, press from the front, and it didn't work because the players got knackered after an hour of it against Crystal Palace, and that was the end of that. So you can understand that, it isn't just going to be something that happens overnight. But I'm happy with the performances I've seen and the energy I've seen, and I can see the players trying to do it. And when you do notice that, Marcus Rashford, again, he's suffering from cramp. This is second game in a run, I think, or not second game, sorry. I noticed that against Liverpool. Yes, slight concern that our players are suffering from cramp, but to their credit, they're buying into what the manager's trying to do, and I would expect that it will get a little bit easier.
Naniko says, need to consolidate these wins in a row, improve ball retention in midfield, and improve our composure in attack. Go on a run of wins, target 10 wins. 10 wins in a row is tricky to do, isn't it? Are people saying Eriksen better than Juan Mata? That's a bold statement.
That is a very big statement.
But then again, no, that is a bold statement. We can't say that yet, can we? These 1-0 wins are massive building blocks. I think that's the thing in it. These wins are crucial. When you think about how poor we've been, a 1-0 win is almost as good as a 3-4-0 win in terms of where we were 6 weeks ago or 10 days ago to now. It's been a massive change, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, it has. You're right. I mean, just the way the players are working for each other, have that unity. We're seeing high fives, we're seeing hugs, we're seeing that there seems like a real sort of bond there between the teammates. And these are players that have only known each other for about a month. With Martinez, with Delot, with Varane, with Malacia. There is a real sort of team spirit there that's been so lacking. There's an energy there and an effort. And while some of the football in terms of the quality isn't quite at the standard that you perhaps want, especially, as I said earlier, in that final third, on the whole, I am impressed. I am happy. And also, I'm relieved. We've sat here, me and you, for so long now over the last few months going, oh, that was horrible, wasn't it? That was terrible. Oh, what we're going to do? Oh, this is disgusting. Oh, we need about 8 new players. Oh, we're never going to get anywhere with this team and all this nonsense. And now you look at it and you go, okay, I can see what the manager's doing. Yeah. The players are buying into it. It's working in terms of the results. Yes, there's improvements needed in the performance, but also in those improvements, we have players that can help that. Yeah. I expect Anthony to come in and boost this attack. Yeah. He's going to offer something. He's going to be another outlet. He's going to have that energy. He's going to have that quality on the ball. He's going to be able to beat players as well. Put Casemiro in that midfield as a starter, and I can see what he's going to bring to the team as well. Yes, his cameo wasn't great tonight, but you know what he's about. You know what he can do. He is sort of a proper DM rather than someone who's sort of forced to play there like McTominay is, or even we've seen Eriksen operating in there. So I do think this team, the ones that have been playing so far have been doing well, and the ones that are going to come in I expect to do well. So I don't think there's anything wrong with criticising that performance because it deserves some criticism. But in all honesty, I'm pretty pleased with the way things have gone over these last couple of weeks.
Definitely. We've got a super chat here from Cody Watson who says, while learning a new system, getting 3 points is the best case scenario and we need to be patient. I think that is the thing in it. Like, we want to see a team that can win trophies, win the Premier League, win the Champions League. But really, we are adopting and adapting to a new system. And it's going to be up and down during that period. It's always been up and down for every club that has ever started with a new system, with a new manager that is changing things radically. Things are going to be up and down. And I think the fact that we can be winning, certainly these last 3 games in a row, winning whilst learning a new system, whilst perfecting a new system, is absolutely crucial. And like I keep saying, the fact that, yes, we're not blowing teams away, they barely created a chance today. And I genuinely think that is so easy to underestimate how difficult it is to come up with a new system, play to it, change how everything's been for the last sort of 6 months, a year, 12 months, 18 months, whatever, and win games at the same time is really difficult. Jaws4 says this sort of away win that United needs to get, we've gotten through that we've gotten throughout our history. Ten Hag is all about not conceding. This is from Zayad. Once we stop the goals consistently against us, then we can look at blowing away the other teams. That is another thing, isn't it? Because I think people think high pressing managers and high pressing systems are designed as attacking, sort of almost all-out attack systems. You look at Ajax last season, what was it, 18 goals they conceded?
Yeah, it was very low, very low.
Ludicrous numbers.
And you were talking about there about like the fact that that's not just from your defenders. That you don't just have such a small number of goals against you because your defence is at the races. It's because the whole team is mucking in. Yep. So you've got, your attackers are dropping back when they have to. Your midfield's dropping in when they need to. Everyone's battling for every ball. Everyone's pressing where they need to. And, that's not a coincidence. And I think you can see that over these last few games. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I mean, 1 goal conceded when you've played Liverpool at home and Southampton and Leicester away, across those 3 games, is a decent return for a defence that was absolutely leaking goals at the beginning of the season. Not just last season. We conceded 6 in our first 2 games. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were all over the gaff. And now we look like a proper unit, and across the back 5, I've put De Gea in that scenario as well, that sentence as well. And also in midfield, we look like we're offering that protection and support. And going forward, much better. I think it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a start.
Yeah, Guitar Man says, sorry lads, I've lost faith in Rashi. Doesn't compete for duels. He got bullied tonight by Evans. Our need for a number 9 is evident. Can't rely on Martial, who is injured twice already this season. I don't think we're going to get a number 9, are we? Francis M says, confident finish, not trying to focus on the negative, but it does it bother anyone that we can't get more than 1 goal per game? I think we've covered that. Josh W says, who's been a member for 10 months, thank you very much. Shows that Varane and Martinez is the main partnership. Rocks at the back. And Ozzy says, Martinez and Varane equals Ferdinand and Vidic. I mean, a bit early to start saying that.
I can say, listen, I'm not saying that, but I say shit like that all the time, OCT, yeah, but I do think that they complement each other in that similar way. The good thing about Rio and Vidic was obviously you had Rio, who was like bringing the ball out from the back, composed, and then you had Vidic, who was a bit more sort of flying into tackles, all that sort of stuff, getting his head on everything. And these 2, you can see how they're complementing each other, the 2 different styles, but they're both very, very good defenders. Yeah. And hopefully that could be a centre-back partnership that we see regularly, because the issue isn't whether Raphael Varane is good enough, it's whether he's fit enough. Yeah. And I think we have to manage him properly. So whatever that takes, whether that's, just sort of managing his training better, when he does pick up these knocks, giving him proper recovery time or whatever, then United need to look at that, because when we've got him starting every game, our record... Even last season, I think our record was much better when he started. Yeah. And this season, you can see the difference he makes already.
Definitely. Right, that's going to be all from us. We'll be back in just a few minutes for a full deadline day special, looking at everything that's going on across the window. Is there room for any late moves for Manchester United players? Probably not.
Ronaldo out, Mbappe in. I'm going to put my neck on the line now and say that's what's going to happen.
There is some talk of a Fenerbahce move. Chelsea are still buying everyone. Anything that goes on in the last hour of the transfer window, we will be covering it here. So stay tuned for that. We'll be back in just a few moments. Thank you very much for joining us. Manchester United have beaten Leicester City 1-0 at the King Power Stadium with a goal from Jadon Sancho. 3 wins in a row, up to 5th in the table. Not too bad for a team that was basically getting relegated 10 days ago, was it? You know what I mean? Not too bad, is it?
Right. Remember that pressure on Eric Ten Hag a few games where people going, actually, I don't think he definitely is cut out of the Premier League. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, nice one. Right, we'll see you in a bit.